Hi everyone, it's Julie Hutchison here from Think, Be, Do Leadership, and today I want to talk about how it's far too easy as new leaders to set people up to fail. Now you may be thinking, well, I don't mean to set people up to fail, or I don't set people up to fail, but I would probably challenge a few of you on that because I see it so often that by mistake, without intending to, we do this. And what do I mean by setting up people to fail? Well, look, sometimes we get disappointed with when we've asked somebody to do something that they didn't do quite as good a job as we thought they were going to do, or they don't do it at all, or they just take far too long to do it, and it's just not what we expected. And it can be really frustrating. Well, I think it is. Maybe you do too. And the reason why it's frustrating is because we have this image in our head of what we think we're going to receive, and we think perhaps we've given the task away, we've delegated it, we've done the thing we should be doing as leaders, which is stepping back and delegating the tasks and trusting our team. But the bit in the middle is the real big problem, because if we do not set people up to succeed, then they are going to fail miserably for them and for us. All of us will be miserable. So what do I mean? Well, let's have a look. In what way could they fail? Well, first of all, if they're not actually getting anywhere, then maybe we haven't really told them what they should be doing and how they should be doing it. So perhaps we're far too chunked up. So we've got this vision of what we want, but we haven't really explained to them, how do we want this done? What does this really look like to them? So they can break it down into the steps and they can create a picture in their mind of what they actually need to do. So one, they might just not be able to know how to do it. Two, we know why we want something generally. But if we don't communicate that with people, then they don't know why we want the thing we want. And the problem with that is that if you don't know why somebody wants it, then your vision of why they want it is something that you imagine, and therefore is the vision of what they want can change as well. Because if you've got a different picture in your mind as to why somebody wants it, then the whole thing, the whole context changes, and the whole concept changes for you. And quite often you're either not as engaged because you don't know why they want it, or you start thinking they want it for a different reason, and you then create something completely different. So again, you're going to set somebody up to fail because they have a different idea of why you want something, why you want it, or maybe when you want it, or how you want it. All of those things, the lack of communication can really make a massive difference in whether somebody succeeds or fails. Then, of course, you can set them up to fail in another way. Well, you can also ask them to do something that they're not able to do. So you either haven't trained them or coached them enough to be able to do the thing you do. So you overwhelm them, they get stuck, they then don't take any action, and they kind of avoid you for a while. Or they go and ask somebody else, and you're sitting there thinking, well, why haven't they done it yet? And it's because they don't really know how to do it. Or the last time you gave them something to do, they did a really good job, and when you got it back, you didn't like it, and you maybe criticised them, and therefore they're too scared now to go ahead and do it. Because often what we do, especially as new leaders, is we think that we want something that's exactly the way we want it, when actually the important thing is for it to be done in a certain way, but perhaps not exactly as we would do it. And therefore, when somebody gives us the piece of work they did, if they do it slightly differently, but it has the same effect, we can feel like, oh, they didn't do it how I wanted them to do it. So sometimes we put people off from doing this again because we have a reaction to it that's, well, it was not my way. It's not the best way. So all of these things can set people up to fail. And the lack of clarity and the lack of communication is the major one, but also this expectation that people are going to do it exactly the same way as you, and really not getting them to buy in. So I would like to ask you guys, is this happening to you? If you're a new leader, it may well be happening to you because it's something that's actually a bit of an art, and you need to think about, how do I ask somebody to do something? How do I communicate? If you're not a new leader and you've been there a while, well, if you are getting people who are stuck, not doing things, taking too long, then maybe you might want to have a little think about, Are you setting people up to fail? In which case they tend to then avoid to do something. So that's the challenge of the day. Are you setting up people to fail, or are you setting them up to succeed? This is Julie Hutchison from Think, Be, Do Leadership. Please comment below. Let me know whether you think you are fabulous and setting everybody up to succeed, or whether they are managing to be set up to fail. Have a lovely evening. It's Julie. And just so you know, this is my new office being built behind me. I forgot to mention. And you're probably thinking, where is she? What is she doing in this sort of like weird box-like creation? But this is going to be, when it's finished, my new office. And I'm very proud, except it's full of a load of old junk at the moment. So have a lovely evening. And next time I see you, hopefully I'll have plasterboard and maybe even paint. Bye-bye. Julie from Think, Be, Do.